Thank you, thank you, thank you. What a privilege it is to be here at TED in 2010. Matter of fact, at my age, it's a privilege to be anywhere in 2010. I want you to imagine for the moment that it's not 2010. Imagine for the moment as we begin this journey that it's actually the 25th of February, 334 years ago, specifically 1676. And you and I have come to the inaugural TED meeting in London in 1676 to hear a story about the insight somebody has had when an apple fell on their head. We're there to hear Sir Isaac Newton. And of course, as he begins that speech on the 25th of February, 1676, he comes up with this famous phrase, which is, if I have seen a little further, it is because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. And how true is that about us coming here today and through the years on TED? Every single one of us has in some way, shape or form, by looking at those TED videos online or however we've accessed it, got new insights and new understandings. And that's one of the reasons why it's a privilege to be here, but only on the shoulders of those giants. Here's one, guys, whose shoulders I stand upon. He did a talk on TED about 6 months ago. It is one of the most profoundly important things that I've ever heard. His name is Simon Sinek. He talks about how we start with why. And through my connection with Simon, I got to meet another guy. His name is Nick Morgan. Nick Morgan's in Canada, written a brilliant book that only took me one sentence. In fact, the first sentence of the book to figure out what it was all about. Nick, in his book, says this: the only reason to give a speech is to change the world. And that's one of the reasons that all of us are here together today at TED. In fact, TED is very gracious. TED gives us 18 minutes, would you believe, to give the speech of our life. But in the wow world, the world that I live in, I think it's only about 18 seconds that is actually required to do that. Let's take a look at why. Over the last 27 years, when I've been building businesses and showing others how to do that, and traveling around the world doing it, I have never seen anything like is happening today. There are two waves that are hitting us with incredible depth and incredible speed. Help me define the waves. The first one, right up here, has just 3 letters. So see if you can get it. It's called the wow wave. Very, very good. Exactly. Next time you see those letters, bigger, okay? So it's the wow wave. But underneath that, there's another wave as well. This one's a little more complex. It has just 4 letters. See if you can get what this one stands for. Here it comes. Whoa, exactly. It's the whoa wave, which is a little deeper wave than all the glitzy stuff of the wow. So once again, the first wave is wow, and the second wave is whoa. Now today in our 18 minutes, we're only going to talk about that one, which is kind of cool. Okay, so let's begin that and let's just see how we can implement this by referencing some stuff from Simon Sinek. This is a horizontal cut through our brains. And if you think about it, there is just 4 millimeters right around the edge right there that is called the neocortex. It is in fact the latest part of our brain to develop. This is the only thing that separates us from animals, only 4 millimeters thick. The neocortex is where we process rational, analytical thought, and it's the only part of our brain that has anything whatever to do with language. And here's the most fascinating part. That's where we process spreadsheets and bullet points, right? That's why very few of us see a spreadsheet and go, wow! You know, they can't think about it. But right in the middle here, there are in fact 2 parts. Take them together, you get what is called the limbic brain. And it's the limbic brain, that first part of the brain that formed where we get gut feel, where we get heart. It's not here, it's here. We get heart. And it has no capacity for language. It's one of those instinctive things. You meet with someone and you know instantly whether you trust or whether you don't. Make sense? It's nothing we had to go to the spreadsheet to figure out. So in the limbic brain then, that's where we get wow. That's where we get trust. That's where we get connection. And that's where you and I get inspired so that we can then inspire. So guess what? That's where we're going to spend most of our time today. By the way, it's also in the limbic area where we get inspired by pictures. And when you combine that with music, that's why music and pictures is kind of cool. So let's spend some time for a minute in that 4 millimeter part to look at a book that was written in 2000 by some Scandinavian guys, one of which is called Nordstrom and the other one is called Ritterstrahl. And right up front in this book, they said this: we are afloat in a sea of sameness. If I could get passionate for the minute, because that's so true. Why is it that every bank looks like every bank? Why is it that every hotel looks like every hotel? Why is it that every real estate office looks like every real estate office? Why is it that everything looks like everything else to the nearest decimal place, right? And in fact, I don't think we're afloat in a sea of sameness. I think we are drowning in a sea of sameness. And then at the end of that chapter, they say this. Say it with me. Normal equals nothing. Normal, go pin that up on your mirror. Normal equals nothing. So if normal equals nothing, let's find the opposite of normal. Really easy question for a TED audience. Opposite of normal is abnormal. Very good. It's abnormal or crazy. So let's see how we can work with that. Let's take a look at this guy. Who is that? Someone rather unkindly in Kuala Lumpur yesterday said, Paul, it's you in 3 years' time. So this is not the man of the year, but the man that Time magazine called the man of the century. And when we think of Einstein, we think of E equals mc squared. We think, do we not, of time spent in the neocortex, time in rational analytical thought. But take a look at what he said. If I had relied solely, he said, upon my rational mind, I would never have made the discoveries for which I'm famous. That excites me. But no more so than this quote. This is my favorite quote from Einstein. If at first an idea is not absurd, then there's no hope for it. Show me your hands if you're inspired by that as well. Yes, because people go, oh, what a stupid idea. Next time they do that, say, Einstein said, it's the one that we should run with. Right? That's the idea. So let's see if we can find some examples here in Singapore of absurd, no-hope ideas. Now, this is not an absurd idea. It happens to be Changi Terminal 3. Where the government and taxpayers of Singapore spent $1.8 billion on this wonderful green building. By the way, that's not an absurd idea. It's a great idea. But as we look at what happens in Changi Terminal 3, we can find some interesting insights into wow and into inspire, so on. This is me, this is me behind the camera 3 days after that opened 2 years ago. And here I am with my camera, and I'm not sure whether it's an age thing. Probably is. But as I was taking this stuff, all of a sudden I just wanted to go desperately to the toilet. Sorry to be that personal, but I did. Only that one, by the way, not that one, right? And so I turn around anxious to find something, and fortunately it's well signed. And I look at that and I say, oh good, one of those applies to me. That's fantastic. So I then go to that one, you see, and I follow the arrows. I'm following the arrows. Now follow the arrows with me and just express what you see, when you see this, just express how you feel at the end of these arrows. I go to the arrows, go to the loo, here we go. Wow! My first thought when I see this is, oh my God, I'm in the wrong one. I followed the wrong arrow. But you see, guys have great peripheral vision, so I look over there and I say, oh, no, I'm in the right place, right? And then like all guys, I go to this one because for some reason guys think that if you can only see half of us, then we're invisible. So I go to that one over there. And look at how pristine this is. And I'm just ready to go, right? And then all of a sudden I have to stop. The reason I have to stop is right here. Now, the women have already seen it because they have very good detail vision, but the guys have not. Guys, follow the red dot. You will see the problem here. So, oh my God, there's a fly in the toilet. So here's what I do, go, whoop, and I move to the left to the second one. I look, oh my God, there's a fly in that one as well. So I then go to the third one, and you might think I have an IQ of 3 on a good day because at that moment I kneel down, seriously, and I see the fly close up, there it is, and I realize that this is not a fly. This is in fact a design of a fly that's etched into the vitreous enamel. This, ladies and gentlemen, is an aiming device. That's what this is. Okay. And many of us women in the audience and joining us on video probably think, I need one of those at home. Exactly. So, and isn't it fascinating that here we are talking about a $1.8 billion, 1.89 zeros, $1.8 billion building, and yet the next time you go to that building, if you're a guy, you're going to go straight to the loo and figure out if the fly is still there, right? And it is there. And if you're a woman, you're going to find a guy and say, would you mind going? Right, just a time. And so what's the point of that? People come to me, around the world and they say, hey, Paul, you're the Wizard of Wow. So please give us the big wow. Give us the big wow for our company. And I disappoint them, I think, when I say there is no such thing as the big wow, because it's always, 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 always the little things that make, thank you, that make the profound difference. Good or bad, always little things. And let's see if we can expand that into our life. How about this? It's the little things that you and I do habitually that define us. It really is. If we're consistently late, sorry, you're late. All of a sudden, you've broken the trust and all those sorts of things, which is so powerful not to break post-GFC. So let's go a little further with this. What do you think? Could the environment in which we work influence our ability to create wows? Well, by the way, I'll give you the answer to the question. The answer is yes. Could the environment influence it? The answer is yes. Very, very good. So let's go this time then to Switzerland. In fact, let's go to Zurich. And let's go to the Googleplex in Zurich as 4-story building, depending on where you enter it. But the interesting question is, how do you get from floor to floor as you and I explore wow? Here's how you get from floor to floor like that. Now already, see, someone goes, wow, but there's people in the audience who've gone to the neocortex instantly and said, that's great, but how do we get back up again? You know, you really have. And if you're in a hurry, that's how you get it. You want to get to your office really quickly, and by the way, that's what your office looks like. What do you think? How many people all of a sudden go, wow, and actually want to go take a look at that or maybe even work there? Yeah, a lot of us, exactly. You didn't have to go to the spreadsheet. You got it in a heartbeat because it inspired you. Once again, what's that word? Wow. Okay, so now we've been talking about $1.8 billion buildings and Google and all that, but let's talk about something that we might see just down the road. In fact, we can see it just 200 meters from where we are now. That is to say, we can go and get a cup of coffee. And this is a metaphor for our time together today. Is a toothpick small enough? Is a toothpick small enough to influence and inspire other people to come to your business? Well, let's take a look. Here's the normal cup of coffee that you and I might get. But let's say we take the toothpick. Then all of a sudden we can create that. What's that make you go? Wow. And if you don't like that one, then you can ask for that one. And if you don't like that one, then you, isn't that one cute? Then you can ask for that one. And by the way, let's ask this question. It only takes them a toothpick and a few seconds to do that. What do you think? Can they, not saying they do necessarily, but could they charge more for that cup of coffee? What do you think? Yeah. Absolutely, because you and I would go there more frequently just to try out some stuff. By the way, you could also try that one. And here's one for the Christian, oh no, this one is the lion one, but here's one for the Christian community as well. So you see, I've got everything. Once again, what's that make us go? Give me the word again. Wow, exactly. So metaphorically then, the question to ask after this 18 minutes is, where's my toothpick? What could my toothpick be? Let's now go to Japan. In fact, let's go to Kyoto. Let's go to the Institute of Technology in Kyoto and meet this young lady. Her name is Shan Yamashita. And Shan, you can see her there. She's kneeling down as if she's going to lift something up. And so 4 months ago, she thought about a room, for example, rooms in Singapore, or indeed in Tokyo, around the world, tending to get smaller. How can you make those rooms more impactful? How can you do it? Answer, you can do it through flooring. Take a look. This is called land peel. Take a look at the idea. The stuff is kind of rigid and sits up like that, called land peel. You can go and look it up on Google. There she is. What do you think? Is that pretty cool? It's really cool, but it gets cooler. See, there she is from the top. How do you create a desk in that environment? Simple. You lift up 1/3 of it and fold it over, and bang, you put it there. Wow. How many people already are going, wow? Let me see your hand. Look at that. We're all going, wow. And by the way, there's another secret. She's using a Mac as well. So it was kind of kind of interesting. Now, what do you think about Shan Yamashita? Is she right now on the internet writing out stuff, proposals, all that kind of stuff, saying, please sell my stuff? Or do you think she cannot handle the inquiries from around the world from people wanting to sell that stuff? Which one do you think, A or B? B, because she wowed us. She did it in 18 seconds. Notice she didn't need a business plan. She just needed to wow us and figure that one out afterwards. Again, what's that word? Wow. Let's take a look from, oh, this is so cute. You know those barcode things that we all kind of get, right? Beep, 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 beep. Why do we have to have standard barcodes? Wouldn't it be cool if they looked like that? Here's a client of ours, runs a company called Socks for Happy People. Get a look at the barcode. Really, really cool. So you take the product home, you open it up, and you go, wow, at the damn barcode. How cool is that? Let's take a moment. Oh, that's my favorite barcode. Take a look at banks for the moment, because let's take a look at airlines. This one, India's only 5-star airline, a low-cost airline, Kingfisher, it's called. I don't know about you, but I spend a lot of time on airlines, and I've never, in all these years that I've spent, got one of those in-flight surveys. You know the thing you get? until I'm sitting in seat 28G on Kingfisher. The hostie comes up, she's waving these things, and she says, oh, you're in seat 28G. You've been selected to do our in-flight survey. So I get the survey, you know, how was the check-in? But what's so interesting is the boxes that they have me fill in. You know, like over there is bad, over here is good. Take a look at the names on the boxes. First one is abysmal, meaning this flight is so bad, I think I will eject. Yeah, right now. Next one is poor. Take a look at the one in the middle. It's called satisfaction. There are companies watching this now where that's the top level. Please don't ever say to me, you aim to satisfy your customer. That just gets you on the field, but it doesn't do anything. So satisfaction, not a good idea. Next one up is to delight. That's going kind of nice. You already know what this next box says. What's it say? It says, wow. So now everybody on the Kingfisher team knows exactly what wow looks like. And more importantly, they are encouraged to be the ones that generate the simple ideas that cause us to go, wow. For example, if you're like me, sometimes you've been on an aeroplane where, you know, jumps up and down like this just as you're eating a cup of coffee or drinking a cup of coffee, and you get the coffee on your shirt. Take a look what happens in Kingfisher when that happens. If that happens, you push the call button, and they have not one, but 14 white shirts right there in the front where you can put the white shirt on. What do you think? Is that good or is that wow? It's wow, a tiny idea. Final little thought for you. Banks are easy to knock. Here's one that I like. It's called Commerce Bank. Down here, they have a little tab. It's called, let me blow it up for you. By the way, I've learned never to say that in Los Angeles. So it's called the Commerce Wow Zone. What is the Commerce Wow Zone? Let's click on it. Bang, that's the Commerce Wow Zone. When you click further, you find what it is this. A financial literacy program that teaches kids about the value of money. Interesting thought is how many banks could do that? And the answer is every damn bank on the planet could do that. But where do they think it is? They don't think it's limbic, they think it's neocortex. They think it's interest rates, all of that kind of stuff. Is that making sense? So finally, let's get away from banks and talk about your wow zone, yours and mine. How do you and I spend time in that wow zone? Very simple. First, let's take time, starting with why. Finding out why we're here. I'm very clear about that. It is to give businesses the power to change our lives. And let's take a look at how that works. Let's, for once and for all, get it. That it's not about business plans. It's not about proposals. It's not about spreadsheets. It's about stuff that makes us go, wow, and gets us inspired to the point where we can inspire others. And then when that happens, when we do that, and it doesn't take long to do, what happens is we truly connect. And when we truly connect, then all of us, just like in TED, have the opportunity to truly be one. Thank you for connecting with me. It's been great. Well, thank you.